Hello and welcome. My name is Angelique, and today we're going to be talking about the astrology placement Venus and Gemini. And this talk is going to be about all things pleasurable, because that is what Venus represents, is how we consume pleasure, what we find pleasurable, and some of the main ways we attract pleasure in our lives are through love and money and beauty. So, if it's your first time listening to me, I've been an astrology student for over 30 years with a background in counseling, mental health, and psychology. So, I love to dive deep. I'm a raccoon for knowledge, especially as it relates to the psyche, us as people, human behavior. And astrology is really good for prediction, but it's also good for uncovering patterns about yourself, learning about yourself, what feels good, what type of relationships feel good. So it's just overall great, and I use it all the time. So I just like to talk about it and understand it through mythology and symbolism to really kind of explore what this placement, where it comes from, where it might show up, and then let's ground it. Let's see what practically we can get out of this placement to improve our lives and bring more balance. So, Venus and Gemini. I'm going to start talking about Gemini in mythology a little bit when it comes to Venus, but Venus, just in a snapshot, is the planet of pleasure, like I said, love and money and beauty. And so just wanted to have Venus, just wanted to have her needs met, wanted to feel most comfortable and at ease in her life, and did certain things to bring that to fruition. So when we think of Gemini, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet, but also the god of the same name, the Roman god, and he was the chief messenger god. So, what Gemini would find really pleasing in life and ease would be a fun communication, but also back and forth, having a lot of things going on, a lot of mental activity, because this is the messenger god. Gemini loves the interaction of a message. When you send a message, you go back and forth, you go from one place to another, and information goes. So we can even bring this in the realm of internet, telecommunications, texting, emailing. So that their life would feel the most pleasant when there's back and forth. There's information that they're sending, information they're receiving, and they're almost like a volleyball. It's just going back and forth. That is what Gemini would like. They have um, a high threshold for social interaction, for communication, especially if it's light or entertaining or it's kind of more on the surface level. So that's where, I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's going to have a different chart, but generally, Venus and Gemini is going to love that kind of lighter, more superficial, back and forth, chatty gossip, any kind of creative writing, things that are maybe just a little more on the surface. If Gemini were to get connected to somebody who they would just talk for a long period of time and question couldn't be asked, back and forth, conversation wouldn't be part of it, like sitting in a long lecture where you can't really ask questions, that could be more difficult for Gemini, especially in this placement of Venus. It's not very pleasing to them. It's kind of more uncomfortable and can lead to boredom, which Venus and Gemini does not want. It wants someone else, a friend, a partner. It wants someone to bounce ideas off, wants to have these kind of um, uh, these messages, really. So these are people who might have a lot of friends and might really want a partner because of that back and forth nature. When we look at symbolism, Gemini here in Venus is going to kind of be good, but then it can be also challenging too, and talk more about that. But Gemini is an air sign. Uh, But Venus has air components as well as earth components. So, of course, the more air components of Venus, Gemini is going to really have fun with. What makes something more airy is something that's light, something that's more flexible, something that's intangible. So, social conversations, gossip, chats, these are things that are intangible. They are also usually on a lighter side. Pop culture, talking about pop culture, or listening to a pop culture podcast, or someone going back and forth. And it's more fun and a little more entertaining. That is something that they really love. And also, air air in this way is going to make romance definitely something they want. They're gonna, and they need someone to keep up to because of that high need to communicate and to share information. So these are people who are going to want someone around a lot of times. The Gemini is known as the twins, so it really wants that partnership. And finding a partnership can be pretty easy for this placement because of that very ease that they have with new people, to chatting them up, to learning about them, to having more fun. This makes dating really fun, although it can be challenging because there's that earth quality of Venus. Venus wants to feel secure. Venus wants to have a relationship that stands the test of time and is practical in some way. So the double air here between Gemini and Venus is going to make it difficult to have a long-term, practical, grounded, secure relationship because it's not natural here. Air wants to move and flow and be flexible, but having to be, I like to think of a fan going in a room. If you close the door and you close everything off, the air is trapped. It can't go anywhere. It's almost like suffocating. And Gemini and Venus can sometimes feel that way about environments or romantic relationships that are too restrictive, that they're maybe there's not enough fun, not enough activities, or they're not able to talk, or it's so heavy and practical and there's not enough time for chatting or fun. That could make them feel very trapped in a way, and even worse for Gemini, bored. And that's where they might just be like, bye. Gemini, because of that air nature in this sign, especially, they are not going to want to be held down for too long. So yes, there's a high need for partnerships and friendships and a nice buzz or fun interaction to go on in their daily life and their environment. That's very pleasing to them. However, when a relationship needs to be so practical all the time, or they're with a partner that doesn't want to chat all the time, doesn't want to talk all the time, that can be really difficult and can be hard for a relationship. Also, long-term relationships do need to be things do need to be worked out at a deeper level sometimes. And that's just the nature. When you are merging with another person, kind of need to talk about baggage or history or trauma, and that can be very uncomfortable for a Gemini person in this Venus placement. It could be scary, it could be very daunting, because there's nothing really fun if we're talking about someone's childhood trauma. And so they might avoid it, or try to make jokes about everything. And so if the other person is uh, more of a deeper, intense person, it can just be, there can be a lot of conflict there. Or none. Gemini is that air sign, so this is a sign that might just leave the relationship. Uh, or they might not understand. So it is important for people with Venus and Gemini to try to find some middle ground, to dive deep into their feelings and the feelings of others, because that will make a stronger bond. Um, from time to time, it doesn't have to be all the time, but learning to just check in with people, how they're really feeling. It's great to have jokes and lighter fun and entertainment with other people. Just check in and check in with yourself from time to time. But so when it comes to romance, we talked a little bit about it before, but the love aspect, Venus and Gemini, they are going to really enjoy partners who love talking and laughing and doing lighter things, love having conversations back and forth. They might really enjoy people that are versatile or flexible or open-minded. Gemini is a very curious sign and likes to take in different opinions, just different points of view, really likes to learn and have knowledge. So, someone else that is also a very curious person, or they like to talk, or they like to enjoy a good conversation back and forth. So, almost like a friend, they would rather mentally be compatible and or have a friendship first in a relationship, and that's what they're really concerned with. They also would enjoy someone who is just as bright as them, or witty, or can keep up. There's a cleverness here to Gemini, so having someone that mentally is on their level is going to continue the relationship, continue the love, and make it long lasting. Now, when it comes to beauty, Gemini is an air sign, so all of this air in this placement is going to make someone who wants styles that are maybe changeable or versatile, or just kind of more lighter and easier and don't have to do too much thinking, because they want to save their mental energy for conversations, for knowledge, for chatting, gossip, whatever. So, the more mental space is where they're going to live. So the body might not be something that is as important to them. So maybe the hair is shorter because they don't need to spend that much time on it. They're also the clothing. So I'm thinking like cotton t-shirts or shorts, slip-on shoes, things that are easier and don't need to take a lot of time. So there could be a more masculine or really basic type of clothing. And I'm not saying basic in the negative way, but more basic that it's not intricate. So these are the people that might not get fully dressed up every day, and that might take a lot of mental energy for them. They might just want something that's lighter, that lets them breathe, that lets them move around, because they're going to be quick and they're probably going to be very busy and doing a lot of things. Gemini also rules the lungs and the arms and the hands. So on top of the talking, there might be someone who loves to accentuate their arms or their hands. So I'm thinking jewelry, bracelets, rings. They might really enjoy that. Or they're very attracted to people who have a great, they might really be attracted to someone's arms or their hands. But also how they communicate is going to be very beautiful to them. It's going to be very pleasing if they find someone that can chat with them, go back and forth, hold a conversation. And better yet, if they're funny or they're witty, um, that mental space is going to be a big component of what they find beautiful. But also having an environment where there's air coming in. So maybe you really enjoy having the windows open, that fresh air coming in, fans. Um, Maybe you are somebody that's going outside a lot more, and it doesn't have to be super physical, but just to get that fresh air, being in with a breeze, might be more pleasing and bringing some beauty to you. Or your working environment is you are able to flow through things. So going back and forth, or you're able to get outside periodically and just kind of have that freedom to flow in and out of your life might be really good. Having some fun and entertainment and your home, your space, a good amount can you can find really beautiful and pleasing. So music that is more fun or entertaining, or having comedy specials on, just having that on the background while you work or you clean, could be really good and just kind of make you feel more at ease and more comfortable. When it comes to money, Venus and Gemini can make a lot of money doing things that are fun related, communication related, or just any type of messaging. So, like I said before, IT, telecommunications, anything with computers, or helping getting information and sharing it to other people. So, either you are doing the investigation or the research and you're bringing it to someone else. So, like a journalist or a salesperson, or you are a technician that's finding out the source of a problem and then communicating that to someone else. You might really enjoy that. But any type of field that's entertaining could be good, and you can make a lot of money there because you are set up to have a lighter, more chatty. This is a very sociable placement. So, any type of career where you are sociable anyway, where you have to talk to people, you have to understand people, you have to have a natural empathy and able to kind of go back and forth, or you're going to really shine at and can make some money there. This is a very creative and clever placement, so something like design, decoration, any type of artistic profession could be really good. Gemini rules the hands, so anything hands on that's creative can be really good, like playing an instrument. It could be also difficult to hold on to money as a Venus and Gemini placement because there's more air than earth. So that need for stability and patience when it comes to security is going to be hard. You're going to want to, I'm saying you, but Venus and Gemini, when there's money and there's something that you want, you're maybe more inclined to go out and get it without waiting, without maybe thinking about it first. If you want it, there can be an impulsive quality here to get it. So you might find that money and wealth are something that needs to always be in movement, that you don't want to have a very stagnant bank account. So you might be the type of person that's always working because you are always spending, or a good amount. So not like not in any negative connotation. It just might be you might need to work more to get something that's a bigger purchase because you are maybe not one to deny yourself things that you would want, especially if it's something very interesting or fun or entertainment based. So, going to the movies, going to concerts, going to things where you can have fun, or things that you can, where you can express yourself, like going out with friends. And this is where your money could funnel into when you have this placement of Venus Gemini. But overall, really fun placement. Everyone I meet that has this, they're very talkative and chatty, and I never feel awkward. I feel cared to. You're just you, unless there's severe detriments in the natal chart. This is still going to show through, though. It just might not be as on the surface. But everyone I've met who has this placement, they're chatty to some degree in some way. All right, that's what I have today for Venus Gemini. If you have this placement, you can leave a comment. I'd love to hear how it shows up for you. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.